It's still not for me though. I don't know how y'all do the cigars.
I was watching them women smoke them whole cigars. I said, this is not their first rodeo.
This ain't.
I said, Auntie did smoked her a Cuban before, because why are you smoking that like that?
So easily.
They are big and thick. Like, I was like, Tosh, let me see yours real quick for a picture.
For the picture.
Because I want to give this to somebody. I am not smoking this.
I don't want to waste no Cuban, but
they were strong. I mean, I tried and I was like, these are strong. And watching that's why everybody was lit. And the my 𝗕𝗏𝒂𝒄 that cigar got y'all where we needed y'all to be.
Cigar with that rum.
Yeah,
they was outside.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all. Hey, welcome to part 2 of Travel, Fly, Sexy Takes Cuba. I'm your co-host, 𝗕𝗏𝒄𝒄 𝒄𝒄, owner of 𝗕𝗏𝒂𝒄𝒄 International.
And I'm your co-host, sincerely Jasmine, founder of Boss Babes Love Brunch.
Period. So before we jump back into our trip to Cuba, if you have not gone back and listened to the first part, do that, because you may or may not understand what's going on. But we're going to jump right back into the tea, because we still got plenty to tell y'all. And I think you guys are so interested because you're here again, right? So
the good stuff.
Let's get into it with the things that we did, the experiences that we had. First things first. The vintage car tour.
Yeah, that was definitely something that I was super excited to experience. I'm like, I'm going to Cuba. I'm getting in one of those cars. So that was actually one of the first things that we did. So after our first night, that was the first activity. So how we started our second day, and it paired with a Hemingway tour. So ultimately, you were taking the vintage cars to Hemingway's house, his estate, in just outside of Havana. But not far, but you get the experience because you're getting to drive in the car while you're going there. So the little extra distance was definitely worth it, because you're like top down, hair blown in the wind, in a beautiful vintage car.
Yes. If you do nothing else in Cuba, you have to do a vintage car tour. And like you said, because we got to go a little bit further outside of the city.
Exactly.
It really made for a memorable experience. So, request some alterations to your route if you can, because being able to spend almost the whole morning in the car was so cool.
It was dope.
Of course, you got to get your pics. Speaking of pics, where are our pics? We took the picture out right outside the hotel. I don't know. I gotta go back to the folder.
Pictures. Oh yeah, they're in our folder.
But you gotta get your pics with the car, and also the drivers of the cars. They also add to the experience.
Definitely,
because they were just a time, and it was like, okay, we vibing.
Yeah, and they also are a part of the tour, because they can tell you about the cars, tell you about the different places that you're riding as you're riding through, things that you're passing. So it's kind of a tour in itself.
Yeah. So I highly, highly recommend. You gotta get the vintage car tour, or at least pull up on somebody who has a vintage car and give them $5 to take some photos.
Which is a thing too. Yeah,
like something you
can just book a photo shoot, and you don't have to do the drive. You could just be on the side of the road and get you some pics.
But take the tour. Yeah,
definitely take the tour.
And to your point, we went and took the tour and went to Hemingway's estate, which beautiful place. If nothing else, enjoy the photo ops that are across the property. But I liked, you got two options. You can just kind of explore on your own, or you can have a tour guide like we did to be able to tell you the history of Hemingway and the property and the story. And I'm like a history nut, so that kind of stuff is cool to me. But if you're not, you may be bored, and I don't want you to do that. So
well, I think if you're visiting the estate, you should do the full experience, because you didn't just come there just because it's a nice house, because you could have stayed in Havana. So get the experience, because it's like Tosh said, there's a lot of history to it. And it's a beautiful story of how Hemingway, fell in love with Cuba.
Yes.
So I think it was also nice that we got to do this again early in our tour, because it made us kind of fall in love with Cuba, getting the backstory of like how the backyard is just like such a beautiful like overpass of seeing the city, and just explaining how he fell in love with Cuba and Havana in itself, because it was a very nice experience.
It was like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and gorgeous home. Like, I mean, even till this day, like, I mean, they preserve it. They say everything's still in place as it was.
As he left it,
and it's gorgeous. Like, I want to live there.
And it's so unique. Like obviously there's preservation techniques and so forth, but you can't go inside of the home.
Right.
It's all open windows so you can see inside of it, but you can't go inside for fear of you destroying history. But so still cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
I can't say the same for, the 35 people. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I would suggest for like a large group of people, but I think it's definitely something you should add to your experience.
Yep. So then, what was that? Next day we did
our walking tour. Yep. Mm-hmm. Which is another, I think, historical type of thing. So it's like if you're not that into history, I always suggest doing some type of like walking tour or some type of tour, cultural tour.
Yes.
But if you're like not into it, you could do your own walking tour. Save yourself the time. Just do a nice little walk in Old Havana. But our tour was obviously guided with the tour guide who was explaining different parts of history to us, different parts of how the town operated, how the people operated, also explaining how the town operates in today's time. Exactly. And, how the people are operating and making money in the economy structure in the current time.
Which I thought was very interesting, but also very enlightening because if you, as we talked about in the previous episode, it's like you got government hotels, you got private hotels, you have support for the Cuban people directly, and then you got support by way of maybe not. Like, so her I guess breakdown of how you can support the Cuban people and the ways in which that the folks are looking to be supported was interesting. And also she was very candid on just like, hey, this is how the panhandlers are going to panhandle. So if you got something, you give it. If you don't, you say no, we move on. And I will also say too that most of the time when you said no, they left you alone.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't an environment where you felt like I can't even enjoy myself because people keep bothering me, asking me for money or asking me for things.
Yeah.
It was okay to say no, and most people would just move on. But also to that, again, back to the support of the Cuban people, if you want to bring, markers or pencils,
little
notebooks,
like things,
anything that you just want to be able to literally give to folks of Cuba, I also suggest that. We had a couple folks in our group that had backpacks full of things, and we're giving them out to the children while we were on our walking tour. And I was like, dang, I missed that opportunity because I have tons of stuff at home.
Exactly. And that's not something you think to pack. So that's actually a great tip. Like if you do have those little like things that you're like, oh, a kid would love this, or a kid could use this, because school is free in Cuba. However, the supplies are limited based on the economy structure. And they're even speaking to the panhandling there are a lot of children out who are kind of like set out at a young age to kind of bring back money to contribute to their family. So it's definitely kind of pulls at your heartstrings, and they're very appreciative. They're such a beautiful like culture of people, because even in the process of learning about the economy through like the walking tours and through just being there, it's like they're so appreciative.
Absolutely.
And that makes you feel grateful to even be able to contribute in ways that you can.
Yeah. That's why we fell in love. Now we get it. Now we get when I forget the girl name, but when she said I left my heart is in her.
Oh yeah. Was that Sabrina Carpenter?
No, Sabrina is way too new. No.
I don't know, my bad.
No, but
I don't listen to the pop music.
This is a shame too, because I literally, it's like on the tip of my tongue, but nevertheless, she told us half of my heart is in Havana.
She did say that.
Havana, na.
I'm literally.
But we get it now.
For real, I
really fell in love.
It was like, I need to put that song as my caption.
Like, it's so good. So I mean, our walking tour was enlightening.
Yes, it was great. Then we kind of started getting a little bit of rain, and we'll get into that later. But the next day we did, was this the next day or the same day?
This was the same day.
Yeah, it was later that day. After we did some touring the properties and some travel agent things.
Yes.
We took a salsa class. Which was super dope, and obviously a must-do experience in Cuba, because why not learn salsa from the experts?
Okay. I actually really did learn some things.
They were actually great teachers as well, because y'all know me, I'm not into all that. But I did want to look like the red dress emoji, so I did participate.
Great.
But what was the group called that's called our class?
Salsa
Okay.
Salsa.
Yeah, and the Cuban owned and
Cuban owned and operated
salsa class, and they were super nice and they were super fit. I'm like, this, y'all could tell y'all do this for a living.
And they were super patient because we were terrible.
Shout out to that. Shout out, because I have footage of them being patient. Okay. Yeah. But nevertheless, it was an experience that we did, and I definitely suggest that you do while you're in Cuba. So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. And we started with some rum. That's what really made the experience.
That's what made it better.
So we do suggest you get you some Cuban rum. You get you some, what is it, Havana Club? Is that the rum? Get you some Havana Club. Take the edge off and do your little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever. I don't even know. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know.
The way, that's what I was supposed to say. The way that this salsa class was busting people's ass.
It was a little tough, not gonna lie.
I was like, what happened to us?
Yeah.
Like, we will be up in Cuba Libre swearing we know the moves, but get to
I can't line dance. I can't even do the Tamia joint. What is it? The little Tamia
Nobody can do
none of those dances that the aunties be doing. So I knew I wasn't gonna know how to salsa. I knew it, but
how in the comments,
the content ate.
Because I want to know who's really doing the Tamia shuffle.
Y'all be killing it. They be doing it. I be seeing them.
Who's they? Who is that? Because nobody I know.
I was in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta with you. We were in Atlanta, and literally everybody was doing it. And I said, "Wow, like everybody know it, but me."
Why don't I know this dance? When y'all start that, I just
if y'all want to do a Tamia shuffle class, let me know, because I'll pull up for that too.
Yeah, I'll pull up, not hosting, but I'll be there because that be taking me out. Nevertheless, we did okay in salsa.
Tasha better than me, but we got the content.
I thought I actually did terrible, so thank you. But that was actually really fun. So I highly, highly recommend.
Definitely.
And now, to that point, we were supposed to do the class at the actual dance studio. But our plans had to get changed because, child, don't you know a hurricane was finna come to Cuba that day?
Yeah, we got caught in a hurricane, guys.
Dun, dun, dun. You thought it was going to be all rainbows and butterflies. But we literally missed an entire day of our itinerary.
My favorite day of things.
Because the itinerary hit. And it was like not the itinerary, the hurricane hit and it was like a real hurricane.
Yeah. Category 3.
Yeah. We were like, oh my. So legit, a whole day we spent barricaded into the hotel.
Which I loved. I love the safety and security measures of like, something's happening, we got y'all. Like, I truly appreciated the plan in place of like, because I've never been nowhere during a hurricane. So I'm just like, I don't know what that's like. I don't know what to expect. But it was very reassuring that they had a safety plan, that, they had food, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Again, the bar was 24/7. But once the hurricane hit, they decided to shut the bar down, child.
They said, we might about to have all these drunk people in here for 24 hours.
My left mind is like, that's insane to me. Give me a cocktail. But my right mind is like, that makes sense.
To regulate.
That makes sense to regulate and not have a property full of overly drunk people. So it wasn't ideal, but I understood. So
I was struggling.
Yeah, it happened randomly too. We were like in the middle of about to order a drink, and
we
was
were
like
already drinking.
Yeah, we were already drinking.
And all of a sudden, he come back and say, "They said no more." Like
no more. Yeah.
And we said, "Well, can we order while we're able to go?"
Yeah, he was like, "No." They said that it stopped 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, when was they going to tell us?
No, it was very abrupt.
It was very abrupt. But again,
I guess we understood.
Yeah. Your girls of Travel Fly Sexy.
Before we jump into today's episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
And make sure that you're following us on Instagram and TikTok at Travel Fly Sexy.
And of course, if you have a product or service that you'd like to see featured on an upcoming episode of Travel Fly Sexy, shoot us an email at info@travelflysexy.com.
Now let's get back into the episode.
But yeah, the people in our group had, bottles and things. So
right. So we made it.
We survived. But
we missed a day of activities, and this was a day that I wanted to really experience. Yeah. So I was a little sad, but it was okay.
Yeah. Nevertheless, we still want to tell you about it because you definitely need to put it on your itinerary.
Exactly.
And I was fortunate enough to have experienced this day trip option when I visited Cuba the first time back in 2018. So I was excited for Jasmine to experience it, but it's okay.
I'll be back.
We got to go back. So a day trip to Viñelas Valley. If you haven't ever heard of it, it is a must-do on your Cuba itinerary. So the drive itself, I would say, is about 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours from Havana, depending on your mode of transportation. Because I will say, if you're in like a coach bus like we was, I feel like you can go a little bit faster. But when you're in the
smaller cars,
the small cars or the vintage cars, you're going to be more kind of cruising.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's like 2 to 2.5 hours. But when you get up there on this day trip, you visit the tobacco farm. You make your own Cuban cigars. You get to kind of have that personalized experience and then walk away with a couple for yourself because you made it. Then you also get to do the horseback riding up the mountain to see the mural, which if you look up Viñelas Valley, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This beautiful mural on the side of the mountain, which was painted by locals. And that's what makes it so epic. Like, it's like, wow, how'd y'all get up there? Nevertheless, that's a great part. And then you end the experience with the Indian cave boat ride. So you're going into this cave and you're on this little boat, little kind of like canoe.
I'm so sad.
I know. And you're sailing through and they're telling you about the history. Amazing.
Yeah.
Then you come out on the other side and they got fresh sugarcane juice for you.
Y'all know I love, like, those are my favorite experiences. Like, everywhere I go, like, those are my favorite experiences.
I know. So
it's okay though. I'll come back just for that. And like, we survived a hurricane, so like, live to tell the story, right?
But the hurricane
gotta
washed
be optimistic.
out our Viñelas Valley's day.
Yes, and it washed out the opportunity of doing the salsa class because that was like the pre-hurricane.
Yes, they were boarding
the studio was like exposed. Like, I think the roof is like open or whatever.
So they were boarding it up in anticipation for the hurricane touchdown that next day.
Right. And transitioning to nightlife because we missed some things there as well.
We did because of this hurricane.
So like a few things because of this hurricane. I'm like, we had a lot in episode 1, and I think we did have a lot and things to do, and we have a few more things to talk about, and then we'll get into like a little bit more needs to know. But yeah, day 4 or 5. What day was it? Day 4. Day 4 was a wash.
Was the washed out day.
Day 4 was a wash, and it was a jam-packed day. So we definitely had sacrificed a lot of things because of the hurricane. So
yeah. But we sat around and Jasmine learned how to play dominoes.
I learned how to play Cuban dominoes. There's that. And I'm mad that I didn't get a set while I was out. Yeah, they were so fun. And now I found them on Amazon.
Girl, and she was actually winning.
Yeah, I was killing it.
So,
and I'm not even good at games, so like, proud of me.
I was impressed because I was just like, I don't.
Tosh didn't even want to play. She is no fun. I'm like, Tosh, play around. She refused to play around. Like, play dominoes with us.
I know, but I was like, I'm gonna sit here.
We literally have nothing else to do.
I was like, what I had to do was sit here, watch, and drink my wine.
Yes, and it wasn't like she wasn't there. She was there. She just didn't want to play. I'm like, okay, all right. But everyone else played. That was in our little thing. And they had a few bottles of rum, of Havana Club rum. So we just kept the vibes going despite the bar being closed. We made it do what it do.
It was truly a you're locked in your cabin, and
it was crazy, but it was a fun experience to experience with 35 other people.
I was just like, but the next day when them doors opened, I flew out of them.
For real. Like, the sun wish I could wait to get up.
Because literally, they would not let us out of the hotel. They put the furniture in front of the doors and everything.
Yeah.
They was not playing.
Yeah, no.
They said, you would not be a liability around here.
Exactly. And I was like, heard, received. Like, I got you. All right.
Yep.
So nightlife. One night we went to a speakeasy, which was the best night in my opinion, like the best like night out.
Which is
the food could have been a little bit. It was the night going into the hurricane. The food could have been a little better, but I think because I don't eat certain meats, that was my sacrifice. But it was also a cute experience of how the food was served. It was like maybe like a 4-course type of small dish tasting. We had rum tastings, and we had that paired with cigars. And it was lit, live music.
Yeah,
what was it called? 𝗷𝗓𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄𝒄 Well, it'll be in the show notes.
I was gonna say, like,
but it was
make sure you know.
Super vintage. It had like a bunch of like antique things. I think it's also like a vintage shop where they sell some of the things that's like in there.
Like everything was just like
it's artsy and vintage. And then it was a live band, and it was killing it because they was like giving us like old school R&B mixed with some Cuban music because they was definitely saying like, "Isn't she lovely?"
But like with the Cuban flair and the Latin tone.
Yeah, it was such a vibe. And then again, those like four courses of like small plates of I think very flavorful food. It was like this like fish dish, which I never had anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like a charcoal bread bowl soup.
Yeah, then that was good.
We had like different types of bread and like it was really tasty. And the rum, of course.
Child, the rum.
The rum was rumming. We were drunk. That's when we was like, we like these 35 people.
That day.
I like y'all. I like y'all.
And that day only.
Y'all my people. I'm vibing with y'all.
In the cup,
with my twin, we be vibing. Even though y'all was getting on my nerves this morning, right now,
we good.
We locked in. And we did a TikTok after that. I was like, right now, while I'm feeling y'all, let's do this TikTok. Yes. Come on, let's do this TikTok.
We definitely did.
I was lit at that point because I was like drinking straight liquor, and that's not even my vibe.
Because we have the video evidence.
Yeah, I was
Jasmine drinking a short glass.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With just ice and the liquor of choice.
I said, oh yeah, that rum tasting.
That's my jam.
That rum tasting must have really did me in because at what point did I just start drinking it straight? Because I had went and I wanted a pineapple juice. They didn't have that. I got an apple juice random. I know. So I had an apple juice with the rum tasting. And then I don't know how it just transitioned to just straight rum. I don't. But
that's how the night went, though.
It was a great night. The DJ started pulling out the jams
by no request.
No request.
The DJ
knew the vibes.
Go to the late 90s and the early 2000s.
Like what? Not everybody's state of mind. He just started killing it. I'm like, okay. So that was definitely the best night.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for a vibe, they usually were overwhelmed. They were like, we usually don't do 35. We usually do like 4 to 10.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're like with a smaller group and you're looking to get that rum tasting, cigar pairing, dinner experience, but also a vibe, definitely check them out.
It really was great.
It was such a vibe.
It was so great. And I just got my little cigar, a little life.
Yeah.
It's still not for me though. I don't know how y'all do the cigars.
I was watching them women smoke them whole cigars. I said, this is not their first rodeo.
This ain't.
I said, Auntie did smoked her a Cuban before because why are you smoking that like that?
So easily.
They are big and thick. Like I was like, Tosh, let me see yours real quick for a picture.
For the picture.
Because I want to give this to somebody. I am not smoking this.
I don't want to waste no Cuban, but
they were strong. I mean, I tried and I was like, these are strong. And watching that's why everybody was lit in the club. My twin we vibing. That cigar got y'all where we needed y'all to be.
Cigar with that rum.
Yeah,
they was outside.
Yeah.
These people.
Yeah, I was very shocked.
The people on this trip, y'all. Okay,
it was a very eclectic. We'll get into that next. Go.
Let me just
yeah.
Most of our this is gonna be an interesting segue into the best time to visit too as well because several of the things that we attempted to do in the evenings were either closed and or unavailable. Yeah. So like our first night we were supposed to go to a jazz club. We pulled up to the jazz club. It's closed on
that day,
like on Sunday night. And
yeah.
I'm just like, okay. And then another evening, I think we wanted to do the rooftop bar at Hotel Nacional. I don't think it was closed, but I
think we opted out.
We were like, oh, we'll just go
the
tomorrow.
Next day.
The next day
it was
hurricane.
Shut down because it was the day after the hurricane, but it was shut down because of the hurricane.
But that's something else you should do. Get some rooftop drinks or get some drinks at the rooftop bar at Hotel Nacional. Then we tried to go to Fábrica de Arte, which is a huge deal.
I was looking forward to
huge deal in Havana. It is an art exhibit that is, I'm trying to think of something I could compare it to because it's like an installation type of place where you go in and one area is art, but then another area is a club, and then another area is a speakeasy, and then it's all
I've never heard of anything like that. That's what I'm like, I wanted that.
It's just all throughout. It's literally an experience. Again, another place that I visited in my first time in Cuba. So I'm able to at least tell you guys, like, you need to do this. And this place is only open Thursday to Sunday. But of course, Thursday night, they can't open because they're recovering from the hurricane.
Yeah, so yeah, we can go.
So we don't have that much nightlife to actually detail, but we can tell you where you should be.
So definitely need to be there.
Oh my gosh, that was just like so like dang hurricane.
Yeah, the hurricane slowed us down, but I do think it was such a busy itinerary that it kind of made sense for our schedule because I'm like, I probably would have been pooped if we did all of those things. But yeah, the hurricane definitely got rid of some of the better things.
Yeah, slowed us down for sure. And we had to do a lot of pivoting, but we still
made it do what it do. Yeah, the day after the hurricane was still quite eventful. That was the night that we did go to Hacienda El Patron, and that wasn't heavily affected by the hurricane at all, you know, so that was great. And we still had a day full of experiences despite.
What did we start the day doing?
I think we did some on-property things, and then we went out.
Then we explored Old Havana. We ran into I can't forget Donnie,
yes. Our Cuban Jamaican friend.
Yes.
Yeah, he was nice. Yeah, we met a lot. Like, the people were so nice. Like, we just did like a little walk after the hurricane. Again, a lot of things were closed, so we took just like some time in Old Havana just walking around. We got some cocktails, talked to some of the locals, and it was just so nice to see, like, firstly, this is how you guys thrive after a hurricane, because like,
they was outside.
You know, here, any type of bad weather, you go to the market, you stock up on everything, you stay in the house for the next 2 weeks. Like,
dramatic.
That is just how it is. And I'm like, look at them outside just vibing. Like, it wasn't just a hurricane. And like, you know, like, obviously there's still cleanup happening around the city and stuff, but it was just great to see how the community still continued despite things that, you know, at home just completely slow us down and derail us.
Yeah. But that's a testament to the Cuban culture. Like, these people are barely making ends meet on a daily basis. But they have so much to still be grateful for.
Absolutely.
And smiles that go from ear to ear on their faces. And having that conversation with Donnie and just kind of seeing the experience of a genuine, true local. That was where I'm like, and honestly, this is why you travel. This is why you have to go outside and have experiences that are not within the States. Because it just provides so much clarity and perspective for you and makes you a better human, makes you a better citizen when you return home, and gives you just so much more appreciation for all the things that you do have at home. And it was just like, dang, like he said,
so nice.
He said like his mom is a teacher and she makes
$10 a month.
The equivalent of $10 a month is her salary.
Yeah, and his brother is an engineer who makes the equivalent of $15 USD a month.
A month, guys. We're not talking about bi-weekly or weekly or daily, a month.
Right. And we were able to, you know, give him some money and buy him a drink. And I'm like, even just doing that, it's like you are contributing. Like, that's like a month's salary for someone, you know. Like, even after we did our final morning, we took a tuk-tuk and found a brunch spot, which should be today's brunch, but I don't have it. It'll be in the show notes though. But we took the tuk-tuk and, you know, took the ride, and we were able to tip them, and I'm like, that's 2 months salary in their, you know, like, economy, and it's just a blessing to even be able to contribute to society in that way. And I think that's what it's about, and that's how you should look at when visiting any country, but specifically countries like Cuba, when it comes to, thinking like, oh, what's our relationship? I think that should be your relationship, our individual relationship when it comes to countries like this.
Absolutely. Because literally they didn't have electricity that day.
Yeah, no.
We were in this bar in Old Havana.
Yeah.
And they were still
Lights
getting
out.
it done.
Yeah, yep.
No electricity. That's why most of the places that we were supposed to visit on Thursday we couldn't go to, because there was no electricity.
Yeah.
And yet they were still just going about life, serving food, serving drinks. I don't know how they was making it work, but they were making it work.
Absolutely.
And that drink was good.
Yes, it really was. It was so good.
Just using the natural lighting, welcoming the people in, and not missing a beat.
Yeah. So nice. So beautiful.
Much to be grateful for.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess speaking of the no service and no power thing.
Oh God.
That's something to speak about. Just in general, obviously we experienced a hurricane, so we got some of the worst, post-hurricane service, power, etc. But when it comes to power and service in Cuba, it is also a layered thing. Especially for us Americans with our providers, T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon. I think Verizon's good.
AT&T.
I think, well, I was about to say AT&T, but I think Verizon's has a better thing. Well,
I don't know.
Wait, let's put them all under.
The one lady said she was on Verizon. She couldn't even connect to the Wi-Fi.
Let's put everybody under it. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, Boost Mobile, whoever you got, all of those people, Cricket, Metro, if they're still around. You cannot use your phone service in Cuba.
Yeah.
Some people do have international plans where you can pay as low as $3 a minute or $3 a whatever, and you can accumulate a very large bill if you're utilizing that. Our tour guide suggests just being in airplane mode the entirety of the trip, which would then only give you access to Wi-Fi when and where it is available. So that is something to think about, because we were there for 6 days, and both Tasha and I, when we travel, we usually work. So we couldn't use our laptops. When we were trying to use our laptops connecting to certain websites, you could not use it because you're in Cuba. So definitely, if you're a person who, has to work, make sure you have a VPN set up so you can have the possibility of using certain things. But there's still a possibility of not even having access with a VPN.
And eSIMs don't work.
eSIMs don't work on certain devices. So I purchased the eSIM thinking, oh, okay, I got 2 phones. I'll use this phone and I can still text and stuff because I'll buy, Cuba service, a Cuba provider by buying this eSIM, which was $35. So if you do have an Android or an unlocked phone, an unlocked iPhone, you will be able to use it allegedly. I can't speak to it specifically because I didn't do it because my phone isn't unlocked. It's just a regular iPhone. So if you are a person who purchased the unlocked iPhone or a jailbroken iPhone, you may be able to use it. And I do believe with Android, you may be able to use it. That's why they sell them. They do work for some people, but they don't work for us. So I bought it. It was a waste of money. I couldn't use it. I put it in. She was like, that don't work. I was like, I see. So the service is so limited. You're going to be a little frustrated at first. You're going to be a little frustrated, and that's fine because that's just what we're used to. We're used to just having accessibility of service. And even when we travel, we're used to going to Mexico, going to Jamaica, going to these other countries and landing, and then you get that welcome text of, hey, welcome to blah, blah. Instead of 5G, now you got 2G, but you still, you still rolling. That is not the case here. So our devices were on airplane mode
the whole week.
Throughout the whole week. We connect to Wi-Fi while at the property. And you could use your social media. You could, text on iMessage. But when it comes to sending text messages, like for me, my parents have Androids. I wasn't able to text them on their regular phone. So I had to ask them to set up WhatsApp so I can text them through Wi-Fi. So it's just something to keep in mind, especially, again, if you are trying to work or if you have certain systems in place where you need to communicate. You need to think about that because you are off the grid. You are off the grid when you are in Cuba. You are very limited. Couldn't even use Netflix. Even on Wi-Fi, certain things weren't
a lot of websites were blocked. I mean, we were I was dead in the water on just some of the regular websites that I need to use for Travel Guys International, just day-to-day operations. I was like, well, I really am out of office because I can't get to the sites. They're blocked. So, you know, if you're someone that's like, oh, I'm going to work from home, but I'm going to work from Cuba. No, baby, this is the trip you need to actually request the time.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you're not finna work.
Put that out of office.
Those websites are going to be blocked and you're going to be like, oh my God.
And it's salty because you're going to be like, oh, I can't even email my boss and say, hey, because it's not going to connect to the server. You're not going to be able to connect to your website's domain. Like whatever it is, it's going to be like, it
was so interesting. I could not even open my Gmail on my computer.
Yeah. And we've been to so many different countries where I'm like, again, this is one of the few, if not only, destinations where you are going to be like off the grid.
Yes.
And again, we're just, as Americans, we don't have that mentality. We think we just go places, you pull your phone out. And like that's what we use to get around. That's what we use, like, you know, for GPS. That's what you use. Like, you do not have service. So just keep in mind that you will not have any type of service. It's not.
But I'll also say, after we got over it that first day,
it was fine.
I was like, you know what? It's okay.
Exactly.
We do actually need this
and
time.
And everyone I talked to that been to Cuba was like, oh, you're going to enjoy it. Yeah, and I was like, don't tell me I'm going to enjoy not having service. After getting past that, being angry that I paid for this SIM card and it doesn't work, and then, you know, got to the hotel and blah, 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 I was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
And you know, we usually tell you like, oh, call your carrier and let them know. We both
they don't even know. They carriers. They ain't never been to Cuba. Like
they gave us the wrong information.
Ain't never been to Cuba. They still figured it out because they was like, "Oh no, you good?" And I was like, "You sure?" And it was like, "Actually, no, I don't think so. I think if you use the SIM card, you'll be fine." I was like, "Why did I have to call you for me to waste this money? Because you could have told me this wasn't going to work."
And that was T-Mobile. And then I called AT&T. First, he said, "Oh, you'll be fine when you land. The international day pass will work." And I was like,
"You sure?
Are you sure?" I was like, "Oh, wow, that's pleasantly surprised." Then he said, "Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can just add such and such to your plan." And he came back and he said, "Oh, no.
Actually, not for Cuba."
I know.
I was like, that's why I called.
Duh. But my point is, child, we're telling you
to us.
Because
don't
apparently
listen to
the
them.
people don't even know.
Don't listen to them because just listen to us.
It don't work, baby. It don't work. Don't press it. But again, if you have an Android or, you know, an unlocked phone, you should be okay.
Yeah.
But us and our just regular everyday iPhones, no.
The new iPhones don't even have a, like you said, eSIM.
Yeah.
So the eSIM's not even an option. So you will have to have a phone that you can physically put a SIM card in to even be able to use it. And then that phone would have to be unlocked to register that SIM card.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And then I'm like, I don't even know if I trust that because now y'all gonna, whatever. Just no service, no service.
So skeptical.
No service.
Everything.
Yeah, no service. Just no service. Because then I'm like, they gonna be hacking your joint right up. As soon as you put that SIM card in there, I'm happy my phone was locked. Right, they gonna be. You think your Amex app not working now? It's gonna be working when they get to it.
That's definitely a thing too. Yeah, couldn't log into my bank app,
log into
my credit card apps, nothing.
It was crazy.
They said, "Oh, you are where?"
Yeah.
No, babe, you better stay there.
Yeah, crazy.
But it worked out.
Good to know.
We survived it. We still have Wi-Fi at the hotel, so
it was fine.
You know, we were still able to, you know, IG and answer text messages.
Yeah,
that was enough.
As long as people knew we were safe, that's all I was like worried about. I was like, I just need to tell my parents I'm safe. I'm such an only child, y'all. It's so annoying.
She's like, my parents.
Like my parents.
It's like, she's so cute.
After my parents got WhatsApp, everything was well.
Everything was okay.
But I was like, I have to tell my parents that I'm alive.
But then it's the parents.
That's why I bought the SIM card.
Getting WhatsApp for the first time. And them just being like, parents about it. Like, how do you use this? Like, can you hear me? Like, why are you yelling, Mom? I can hear you fine.
Lord, only child things.
I love it for you though. So hey y'all, hey, we know you're enjoying the episode, but we just wanted to remind you to leave us reviews.
Yes, you guys are always telling us in our DMs, messaging us, letting us know how much you love the podcast. And we're like, we love the feedback, but let's get it on paper.
Please. And of course, if you have suggestions of topics or destinations that you'd like us to cover, shoot us a DM or send us an email.
Yes. Now let's get back into the episode.
So, we just told you guys that a lot of our trip was kind of derailed based on the fact that a hurricane hit.
Yes.
So I suppose we should also tell you like the best times to visit Cuba, because I personally, and I clearly got a rude awakening now, thought,
November was okay.
Technically November is still is a part of a hurricane season.
Yes.
But I'm like, you coming out of it.
You think like, and we literally went the first week. So like maybe the second week, like if we went the second week, I feel like you're more like the second and third week. But I'm with you. I was like, November's fine. It's like, no, it's not. It's still hurricane season.
Like,
September through November
to the end
hurricane season. Like, hello.
Should have known better, because the hurricanes this season were very rude.
Very true.
So we should have known.
That's true.
We
got that full experience. Yeah. What'd you say? El Nino year. We rode it through.
Oh my gosh.
But the end is near.
The end is near. But yes, so the best times that the locals say to visit would be December to May.
Yes.
Weather-wise is the best. Also, there's a lot of festivals, activities, and things to do during those months. So you can really get what they're saying is the full Cuba experience, especially with the festivals and things. So if you're interested in that stuff, and I say that stuff because y'all know me, I prefer the way we did Cuba. I just am not like a big old
I don't like going places when there's festivals happening. Yeah, like a carnival and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm not really into that. Carnival, sorry, don't kill me.
That's okay. But yeah, I mean, if that is your thing, then December to May.
Yeah, and then again, the weather. You're avoiding that hurricane season. It's a little cooler and transitioning into like not too hot, because we again had great weather despite the hurricane.
Right, because
despite the rain,
to the better
but
weather.
It was like if we didn't have those rainy days, the weather was perfect. So definitely would say that December to May, you're going to get the best weather. Not too hot. Because I think after May, you're going to be a little warm.
You're basically in the summer. And it's like, whew.
Yeah. And then you transition into back
Havana
into
heat
season.
What else did we miss? Did we miss anything else?
I think that is
the people.
Oh, the people. Well, not the people of Havana, the people of the trip. So again, this was a fam trip of 35 travel agents from all over the world.
Let's paint the scene here, because Jasmine and I were the youngest people in the group. Just start right there.
Besides one young lady who was accompanying her grandma.
Oh, yes. Hey, Amy girl, hey.
Yes.
We were, y'all know us. Yes, we 80 episodes in at this point. Y'all know who we are. We are understanding. We are fun. We are hangouters. We are very adaptable. We do not complain a lot. We are grateful for experiences. All of those things. Baby, why would they stick us with this group of people who were all of the exact opposite? The whole experience, we were like, okay.
I literally had to walk away so many times.
Literally had because
I hate that for me, because I'm like, I hate when my emotions show. Like, I'm like, I try to be one of those people who just can be like, but I'm like, I had to walk out of so many rooms. So many times.
Because we're okay. Let's just call a spade a spade. If y'all listening, we still had a great time. However, guys, you do not have to complain about everything. I don't care if you're in your 60s and 70s and you're just like that person.
Yeah. Don't be that person. Just don't be that person. Just don't be that person.
Like, we had a lot of settings where we're in group settings because we're learning about these properties, or we're visiting properties and so forth. And you've ever just been with someone who can't find anything positive to say about the experience, or they must find a complaint they don't even know why.
And part of me is like, okay, I get this. I get criticism and things, because we're travel agents. We're here to, dig and get the most out of, answer all the questions that aren't on the surface and stuff. Like, I get that. But it just got to the point where I'm like, oh, some of you are just stuck in your ways, and you need to not be like that. That is not good. I'm like, you're doing yourself and your clients a disservice with some of these things. But yeah, I think I knew from us, from the beginning, I was like,
we had some pre-group calls.
Yeah, and just knowing
text message thread.
Yep, exactly, like a WhatsApp group. And I'm like, just knowing that it's 35 of us, and it's going to be a range of people, range of areas, and range of demographics, specialties, what we sell, etc. Range of experience, years of experience. Because for me, I'm like, I'm still like a baby in this, so like I'm here to absorb any type of education, knowledge and stuff. But I'm like, y'all are not going to burn me out with 50 years of the wrong stuff. Like I just don't agree. I just don't agree with that. And they got to the point where at first I was like, okay, I'll walk away, I'll shut up. But then I was like, y'all, this is what he's trying to say. Like, this is what it is.
She
this
got
is
very
being
Virgo
said,
very quickly.
This is where, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. And if some things can be a follow-up email, some things are an email. That's an email. That's a DM. That's a private message. That's not for everybody. That's not applicable to everyone. Some things are just that's you and them. That's you and your situation. I don't need that right now. It does not add value to this environment right now.
Now that happened for Jasmine on day 5. It happened for me on day 2. So she lasted longer than I did, because when we were at the Claxton, you had went to the restroom, and I was like,
but because I kept walking away, I had to.
I know. I was like, this
she had
is not what we're doing, guys. So
but
I was like, here are the
doing
clip
it. You
notes.
would think that after her doing it, it would be like, okay,
the second day.
But they kept doing it. And I was just like, y'all are insane. But that's what comes with large groups. I will love the opportunity, but will probably not be going to any large families like that, because like, I think that will just be the theme across the board, because like, again, I get it. Like, you know, people want to learn certain things. You want to ask the questions that aren't answered, you know, and everybody has to each their own, but not for me. I want to be around people that sell like me, that act like me, that have similar questions like me, that have enough couth to know that, you know what, I'm going to ask that later. I'll pull you to the side. Like, sometimes it's just like you could pull him to the side. He's still here. You still have access. Like, no, I want y'all to know that I'm an a-hole.
Yes.
Absolutely. I want y'all to know. I want everybody to know.
Like, oh my God. And then in my mind, I just kept saying, you're too old for this.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, too old for this.
Y'all be stuck in your ways.
Oh my gosh, it was stressful. So we made it through, but there's a lot of times where I was like, I'm not gonna make this. I'm not gonna make this. Somebody's gonna get snapped on. I'm not going to make this. But I made it, guys. I made it. Y'all
know we're both like super easygoing. So it's like for us both to gotta be at that level, but at different points, it was just like, again, we were able to kind of like piggyback off of each other. So it wasn't like, but girl.
Every day we were like, girl. And one day, sir. The conversion.
Just all of us. I'm like, y'all, we are in Cuba. Like, a lot of the things were just like a lot of things we discussed in this episode. We are here. It is what it is. If you do not want to deal with it, do not come here. So if you have any questions, again, about Cuba, feel free to let us know, because it just might not be the destination for you.
Absolutely.
And that's fine.
And it's fine. Like,
that's okay.
Don't go there and then figure out it's fine.
Can't make it the destination for you. Like, don't sit there and try to make the shoe fit, and then you wondering why am I being panhandled? Why am I dealing with this? Why is the conversion rate different? We told you.
we told you. Tell you.
Like, you can't go ask some people why it's like this and like that. It just is what it is.
That's fine. Like, maybe it works for you. Maybe it don't.
And that's what I think, to kind of wrap up the episode, is access to questions, listen to this episode, and decide if Cuba is a destination for you, because it was an amazing destination.
It really was.
But I would say it's a traveler's destination, and some of the people that we were with were definitely vacationers, and they sell vacations. And I think, you know, we sell travel experiences, and you can, you know, decipher through the content and through, you know, clicking the show notes. And again, if you have any specific questions, let us know, you know, drop it in the comments, or, you know, shoot us a message on social media, so that way you can decipher before planning such a huge trip with so many layers to it. And then you go and you're like, I hated it,
child, because I'm gonna tell you, well, there was 192 other countries in the world you could choose.
It's so
Cuba,
we love you. Havana, we left our heart, like that lady said.
Like that lady. We still in my name. Oh.
I feel like I kind of know it, but I don't know.
I feel so bad because I know it, but I can't. Anyways.
Can you check for us? Is it 𝗬𝗂𝗂𝒂𝒗𝒄 or something like that?
It's 𝗬𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 something.
Yeah. See? I be knowing.
You did know that. Thanks, Jess.
Her and Sabrina Carpenter like the same person. That's the only reason I got it mixed up.
That song came out in like 2017.
That's true.
Sabrina Carpenter.
She got Young Thug on there. I'm just saying vibes. Similar.
Is Sabrina Carpenter of Latin descent?
I don't know. Anyway.
You also think Sabrina Carpenter was planted.
She is a plant.
She's a plant. So
she might be that lady.
Oh my gosh. No, that lady is still around. Oh my gosh. I guess we kind of wrapped it up with the overall vibes and ratings. We clearly enjoyed our time.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't give it a 10 because we had a hurricane. But definitely a 9.
No.
8.5 because I missed out on a lot of things that I truly wanted to experience. But everything else was like, I couldn't imagine this trip being the way it was. Like, you know, you really can't paint out a experience of Havana. It was definitely a dope experience.
It was. And I truly think like it's a place that, again, decide if you should go, but I feel like everyone should go. Because as we talked about before, just the perspective of life, being in an environment that you literally know, I'm privileged, but I'm so grateful right now.
Absolutely.
And then, like you said, we got to experience the luxury side of Havana, which was even cooler because we now, you know, yes, this is an impoverished country overall, but there are still ways to make a travel experience memorable. And I feel like we were fortunate to experience that. So
I agree.
I loved my trip. Second time
amazing.
around for sure. And I will be back. That's the thing. Favorite thing about Cuba?
I think for me, I'm gonna go with the cultural aspect. The people were so nice. It was so great to understand because I think just as an American and as a person who enjoys travel, naturally I was just like curious of what, you know, it would be like and, you know, what it's like in Cuba. So to actually go and see and to experience their culture and experience the people and to be able to contribute to that in a way was really beautiful. And I'm grateful for that. Thanks, Cuba.
Thanks, Cuba. For me, the favorite thing, the culinary experiences.
Yeah, I knew you was going to have my back with that one.
Because, like, I hate to be so cliche on our episodes, but these experiences knocked it out of the park.
They must have knew we was coming. Like, they knew who their guests were because, like, why did y'all give us this fine dining?
And it's like, again, we don't say, I could have just said food.
Oh
no,
my gosh,
I said culinary experience.
The cocktails, that chicken. Like, I'm like, y'all literally, the chicken is somewhere. Sorry, rest in peace to him. But I know he's somewhere around here because this chicken is so, and it took him a long time to make it.
Right.
It took him a long time. I said,
like, are you back there skinny?
Y'all just made this chicken. I know. Well, that was probably the freshest chicken I ever had. But that chicken was good. The cucumbers were so fresh. And I know that's such a small thing.
But it makes a difference.
But the vegetables were so fresh that I think like we're just used to like these certain vegetables where they go bad in 3 hours in the fridge.
We just were talking about that with the bananas.
These cucumbers literally are so fresh, and the vegetables were so ripe. The fruit was so fresh. I'm just like, Cuba, you could do no wrong. And the cocktails were popping. The Cuban rum might have made its way up to the rum list.
Like, maybe I'll order Cuban rum.
Yeah,
now.
Cuban rum made its way up. I was drinking it straight, guys.
I still can't believe it.
Yeah,
I saw it with my own eyes.
It was good.
And the also thing I'll say about the experiences, our hotel every day with our included breakfast served champagne.
Yes,
and this is
not the mimosas, and the coffee was really good.
Not at all inclusive
coffee,
but every day you could get mimosas or just like me, just straight up champagne.
I love that.
That was a bonus.
That was a great bonus.
So yeah, I mean, all of that to say, we think you should be in Cuba. You already know we the people to get you there.
Okay.
Or if you didn't know, but now you know today. Jasmine and I are both a part of Travel Goddess International, which is a full-service travel agency that can assist with bringing your Cuba vacation experience to life.
Period. So whether you're going to Cuba, which we obviously suggest, or anywhere, if you decide that Cuba is not the destination for you, we can get you where you want to go. Visit travelgoddessintl.com and we're going to get you set.
We got you. Submit that consultation and let's get outside. Because 2025 is here at this point. Like, you got a couple more weeks to go. Be intentional with the travels this year. Okay? That includes us too.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
I'm like, I don't even got nothing booked.
I know, exactly. I was like,
not okay.
Looking at the calendar yesterday, like, geez, like I have nothing booked, but yeah.
Not okay. Ciao. Nevertheless, it's time for the travel deal of the week.
Okay, now.
Which can certainly get your 2025 travels off to a great start. All right. So the travel deal of the week is a 5-day, 4-night trip to one of my favorites, Dubai.
Come on, Dubai.
Early February with round-trip flights via Royal Jordanian Airlines, which is a One World partner. If you're familiar with One World, that's American Airlines in them. From JFK with 1.5 hour layovers both ways, an hour and a half.
Quick and easy.
Easy
for
peasy.
Dubai. That's awesome.
Right. With 4-star hotel accommodations at the 𝗕𝗿𝗃𝗍 Dubai Investment Park, which is a Marriott property. So again, you get your washcloths.
Period.
All of that, 5 days, 4 nights in Dubai, round-trip flights via Royal Jordanian Airlines, and 4-star hotel accommodations at a Marriott property. And this is a new property too. They just kind of are doing this investment park area. So everything is new over there. $840 per person. Like, what?
For Dubai? Wow. Dang, y'all might get me thinking about what
that is crazy. And it's like a doable trip for you because it ain't too long.
5 days, 4 nights is not too bad.
Right.
Not too bad.
You be okay.
I'm into that.
$840 a person.
That's not bad at all.
Like, look up the flight to Dubai.
No, seriously. And even out of JFK.
And then you tell me if I snapped.
You ate that one up? Because now you got me thinking, do I want to go to Dubai?
Because that's
and
crazy.
I want to go to Dubai for early February?
It's a mood. So you already know this is one of our premium travel deals. Okay. So a membership is required.
Come on, $9.
And y'all better get on that $9 now because it will be going up.
She said the price is going up.
Yesterday's price is not fit to be today's price. So get on it now, all right, while you can. So visit us at travelgoddessintl.com or just click the link in the show notes. Takes you right there. Yep. Because you really should be in Dubai next year.
That's a good one. That's a
especially
really good
for this price.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they definitely got brunch in Dubai.
I was about to say,
got everything in Dubai.
I know they got brunch in Dubai.
So it's time to get brunchy.
Yes. Okay. So this week's brunch abroad, which certainly should have been the brunch spot that we found in Cuba, I'm going to put that in the show notes as well because that was a gem. And we didn't get to do the brunch, but they have brunch. Yes. But this week's brunch abroad is in DC because y'all know I love DC. Oh. Lyle, Lyle, DC does a $28 bottomless brunch, which is mimosas, Bloody Marys, and I believe something else. It is a gorgeous restaurant though. So it's one of those cute, like uppity DC restaurants, which I love because like, you either get like the party or you get like a cute little type of posh vibe. But this one has a DJ too. So you get the little party, but it's still giving you're in like, an elegant nice environment with the marble and the, so.
Which we love.
We love the experience. So yes. I think with DC you get either or. So it was nice that you get the bottomless, you get the DJ, but you also get the aesthetics, you get your pictures, and you get, nice fine dining dishes for brunch.
DC.
Can't do no wrong.
I'm so ashamed to say that it's almost the end of 2024 and I did not go to Washington, D.C.
I know.
Who am I?
I don't even think I was like in D.C. No, I'm lying.
You're lying. You went. Because you went. No, Amber was last year, but you went.
Yeah, I went. I did.
Because you went to D.C.
Yeah.
I did not, though, and I'm sad.
We're going to get there soon.
We do, I know, because literally Jasmine was like text the group chat like a few weeks ago. Hey, y'all want to go? Hey, y'all want to go?
They be too busy for me, y'all.
Things. Normally, I don't. That was the one weekend where, like, because I typically keep my weekends clear because I like to be in the house. But that was the one weekend where I was like, dang, I do got things. So make sure you ask me again.
Okay. Updates to come.
All right. Last but not least, question of the day. Question of the day, Jasmine. Are airport lounges overrated / overhyped? What are your thoughts?
I'm going to say no, because if I have to spend time in the airport, I would like to maximize it. So, no. If you got some time, make it worth it.
I definitely, y'all know I'm where is the nearest airport lounge?
Yeah, she on her app as soon as she get off the phone, like, listen, this is in this gate. I'm like, okay.
Like, we got to go and go now so we can maximize this layover.
Exactly.
But the reason that I posed the question is because recently, coming back from Cuba, we opted to do the Admirals Club lounges instead of, y'all normally know we do the Amex lounge, but the wait time was just not giving. And since we were flying American Airlines, I was like, oh, we could do the Admirals Lounge. I get access there too. And I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
Of all of the lounges that I've been in, because I've done Uniteds, I've done Delta, I clearly have done Amex, I was disappointed by the Admirals Club.
Yeah.
Now, not to be confused with the Flagship Lounge, because the Flagship Lounge
got a whole different vibe.
That is okay. Oh, right now we talking. So I usually get the Flagship Lounge when I'm by myself, but I think my status gets +1 in the Admirals Club. So this was the first time I was in there, and I was like, this what y'all got?
Y'all got nothing else made to order? Yeah. The food is definitely subpar, but I'm here for drinks anyway.
I know. So that worked out well. That worked out well. But Amex is never overrated. So if you can make your way into the Amex lounge,
very gourmet. Okay.
You're going to get what you need to get, and it's going to do what it's going to do. But and then I'm more so asking because I'm like, there's so many new lounges popping up now.
Yeah, there are a lot. There's a few opening and new ones in Philly.
Yes, the Capital One Lounge is coming, and like all of these things. So I'm like, the credit card lounges, in my opinion, are the
better ones. I agree. Than the airline ones. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what y'all think?
Yeah. Drop it in the comments. Let us know. Also, if you know where like the good lounge is, I know you might not want to spill the tea.
Just tell us.
Don't be like that. We spill the tea every week. We give y'all all our game.
And if you don't want to comment, just DM us.
Please, because we want to know.
We can keep it on the low. We ain't going to tell nobody.
Be like, oh, girl, the Amex Lounge in such and such airport.
Because I will go to Idaho if I got to.
Let us know so we can pull up. All right. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the episode on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, and follow us on social media at 𝗕𝗏𝒂𝒗𝒆𝒍 on Instagram and TikTok.
And of course, if you have a product, service, experience, whatever that you would like to see featured on an upcoming episode of TFS, shoot us an email, info@𝗕𝗏𝒂𝒗𝒆𝒍.com.
Period. And remember to subscribe to our Patreon. We talked about it throughout this episode and last episode, but we'll have some exclusive Cuba content there. So definitely give us a subscribe.
Because you need to see in order to visualize and then decide you want to go to Cuba.
Period.
And last but not least, leave us reviews, guys, please.
Yes, your feedback is valuable. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and if it's anything that you want us to talk about, let us know.
Yes, please. And definitely write it down. Like, you see the comments, and those are great. But please, if you can use the actual review option of your particular streaming platform that you listen to us or watch us, that's the best.
Yes.
I think that's our episode.
Oh, left a piece of our hearts in Havana.
We did. We really be having great experiences.
Yeah, this was another one for the books.
You really my girl.
Period. That's why we here, okay?
That's why we here.
And that's why y'all here.
Love it. Until next time, you guys. Bye.